Officially unveiled at E3 in July, despite the best attempts of the pesky internet to spoil the surprise, the first reaction to Microsoft's avatars was, let's be honest, tinged with cynicism. These fully customizable 3D models are, if you like, the faces of the new Xbox experience, the comprehensively redesigned user interface due to launch on Xbox 360 later this year. But hadn't we seen them somewhere before? They're just copying Nintendo's Miis, but without any of the charm, cried the press and the forums. So while the early response wasn't overwhelmingly positive, was it fair? And exactly what can we expect from this new model army? Well, with the agonised death rattle of the once mighty LA showcase finally out of earshot, we journeyed deep into the Leicestershire countryside to visit the quintessentially British studio charged with realising Microsoft's American avatar dream. And one of the biggest points that Rare is keen to address is the matter of who's copying who.
It was an idea that we had, it was even before Miis were part of the gaming scene, of putting these kind of characters that you have an affinity with, not necessarily as part of the Xbox Dash, but just somewhere in the Xbox that you would play multiple games with or have multiple experiences with that same character. And so we had that idea, we were working on the first part of that internally, and it was at that stage that we heard about the platform team trying to redesign the Dash and make the whole thing a bit more approachable. That was when Miis came out, and it all kind of, planets just aligned a little bit really, and it all fell into place. Microsoft did not turn up one day in a speeding car and say, they've got Miis, do something. And then we got to work. It wasn't like that at all. It was something that just fell into place over a period of time.
Okay, fair enough, but why Rare? After all, the most cursory glance back through the studio's 25-year history shows a consistently fantastical element that surely reflects the personality of the team. With avatars, of course, they must instead now reflect the personalities of millions of gamers.
They know how we make games, and then there was a kind of implicit trust of, you kind of know about this creative stuff. We make the UI experience, and we know what pieces have to be fitted into this Dash. But in terms of the creative side and the adding the fun, that was something that was kind of handed to us and said, you go away, you make this, and we'll kind of step back.
Well, to a point, because this is user-generated content. And when gamers are given the tools to make stuff for themselves, things invariably go wrong.
Our intention for the project from the very beginning was to make this approachable and make it fun and not make it a hardcore niche experience. And just by having that as your kind of goal, you just naturally kind of fall into a place where you try not to offend many people. You don't put swastikas on t-shirts. You don't kind of do things that you know are going to offend.
So let's look at the design. Miis are unquestionably very Nintendo, and the oh-so lifestyle characters in Home are oh-so Sony. But no offence but no one outside of the boardroom or the science library wants a 3D character that says Microsoft.
Should these things be little animals? Should they be quirky characters? Should they be spore-like kind of creatures? Should they be ultra real humans? And we kind of landed in the place that we have, basically from the overriding thing, which is approachability.
Okay, so we've heard why Rare reckons it isn't just copying Nintendo and Sony with avatars, but since it's very clearly riding aboard the same bandwagon, what's it doing better than the competition?
What we see as the key here is the personalisation you can get through the clothing, and that we expect someone, and certainly the research we've seen on when people use other creators such as the Mii creator, is that they'll tend to create themselves or their family, but we asked a number of times that people go back and change themselves, their features, their noses, eyes, and it's not that often that they go back. And the same in real life, you don't go out and get plastic surgery every day, whereas you do change your clothes every day. And so we see the same parallel in the virtual sense.
Like Nintendo's Miis, avatars will have a life beyond the Xbox dashboard. The first games confirmed to support them are the game show titles 1 vs 100 and Seen It box office smash, plus Uno Rush. There's a lot more to come.
There's a lot of interest in the avatars, and before E3 they were shown to developers, and they've had a lot of interest from people wanting to really to take those and use them in games. And there's different levels that people can support avatars. They can be either in the game, as in you running around in the game. They could be simple puzzle games where you have your representation of your character there as opposed to your gamer tile. So there's different stages and different levels that people can use that.
But shouldn't Rare be leading by example?
Yes.
No, that would make sense.
It would make sense, yeah.
But obviously nothing's been announced.
No.
So
There's no announcement. There's no...
I'm not announcing anything.
I'm not... No. I wanted to say. No.
God forbid.
It would make sense if that were to be true.
No announcement, no denial. Let's put it on the internet as fact. Avatars will spring to life alongside the new Xbox experience later this year, of which you can read more by clicking on the red button.
It's always the right time, it's always the right